rib, joint play, and mobilization. This is from rib 2 and below for this particular technique. So we will do a similar thing except go onto the ribs, but starting by finding T1 the same way. So you would spring, figure out where T1 is, and then start there. So for here, if I want to test the left rib 2, this is where rib 2 is going to be. And this is where rib 2 is here. And then rib 3, rib 3. So if I'm on T1 here, T2, and then rib 2 is right there, I am going to use the opposite hand, ulnarly, radially deviated, to get on to rib 2. This hand is going to come right lateral to the spinous process, so that my hyperthenar eminences there are kind of right next to each other. So I'm going to stabilize with this hand coming underneath, and I'm going to hold it still. I'm going to stabe first and then spring on that rib to see what the joint play is like. If I wanted to mobilize that rib, I would just hold still and push. So the direction of force is following with my elbow here, slightly lateral and towards the table. I can move down. I have to move the stabilizing hand with it and make sure that I'm stabilizing first. Now, as I get towards the peak of that curve, I'm going to need to come around to the side. So I'm going to come around to the side, but when I do that, look what happens to my hands if I don't pick them up and move them. Now it's very awkward for me. I've got hyperextension at my wrists, plus I'm likely to go across multiple ribs. So I now have to switch hands. So at this point, we have to picture that the ribs run in this kind of direction. If I use the wrong hand and put it down, then I am crossing probably 3 different ribs. 1, 2, 3. So make sure that you can picture, how are the ribs going? This hand has to go in the direction of the rib. So if I find a rib right here, I can lay my little finger and hyperthenar area there and stabilize on this side. Hold this down and spring. And spring here. If I want to mobilize, I can stabilize here and push. So the force is going, as my arm is going in this direction, slightly lateral, slightly inferior, and P to A. Pushing.